I'd like a tall breve latte with no whip, please.
Change. Even I can change from a French roast to a latte on occasion. We all have our preferences, and I don't know about you, but things I really like, it's kind of hard to get me knocked off of them. I mean, to get me to really change something that really works for me or something I just enjoy. Camera reviews on photography are some of the most popular videos on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen about 10,000 of them. But when I see so many of these videos, I have to wonder, how many minds do they actually change? How many people actually do a system change from Canon to Nikon or Sony or whatever? That's a really big change. I mean, in my case, I actually have 3 Canon bodies and 7 lenses. Am I unusual in not wanting to just chuck all that out and switch brands? Is encouraging people to do this actually good for their photography? That's an important question, I think. Let's grab a coffee and talk about it. So let's dive into this. Why are these kinds of videos the most popular videos in YouTube in photography? Or it seems like they are to me, because every other video I watch is about a gear review. Well, they're fun to watch, I guess. You're sort of living vicariously. I mean, who wouldn't like to be able to drop 25K on a new system, new camera body and a couple of lenses, and just pick up where you left off and just go play? We all would. Of course we would. That's why these kinds of videos are popular. That's one big reason, I'm sure. They're entertaining. Sometimes you really just do need a new piece of gear. And in that case, review videos serve a good purpose, I think. Especially if you don't have any gear and you're starting from ground zero. Well, you got a lot of questions, and getting a lot of information from video is a good thing. I don't think that's the majority of who these videos are made for, though. Think about this. If you're talking about the pros and cons of a Z9 or an R3, we're not talking beginners here, and we're not talking a large segment of the viewing population, I would think. If so, I'd be really surprised. Another reason for their popularity might be that you've got a piece of gear, or you've started down the road of a system and you realize it's not for you, right? You've bought a body, maybe a lens, and you start using it, and for whatever reason, you just don't like the image quality, you don't like the way the camera feels in your hands, whatever. That's legitimate. I mean, you really have tried something and it didn't work. So you're searching, you're hunting, right? And I think these videos could help with that. Again, I don't think that the number of videos like this that are out there these are the kind of people they're really necessarily serving. So who is it serving? I've seen influencers make a lot of videos touting switching from this to that. I'm switching from Nikon to Canon, or I'm switching from this computer maybe to that computer, as if these $3,000 computers are just, oh, it's time to switch. Okay, you can do that. If you can afford it, more power to you. But honestly, isn't this really about entertainment? I mean, that's really why this has value, don't you think? If you live in the real world like I do, or are in this for the photography, don't you care about the end result, your images, more than constantly dealing with buying and selling equipment? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm genuinely curious. So something else to think about. Are we just talking about the grass is greener syndrome written huge to the YouTube world? I don't know. I know one thing. I have used several leading edge cameras from different manufacturers. I don't necessarily own them, but other pros have been around and I've used them. And let me tell you, they're all pretty darn good. Are there differences? Of course. But is one brand a quantum leap ahead of the other? If they are, it won't last for long. The free market's going to take care of that really quick. One camera manufacturer might come out with a good feature or whatever it is they're doing, and I guarantee you, if they're not in development at the other manufacturers already, they will be shortly. So that advantage, that's a jump ahead, it's not going to last all that long. And in fact, the followers might do it better than the leader. Now, everyone has a style and way of working that may favor one manufacturer's camera over another. Sure, I love Canon's control layout, let's say. Is it vastly different from the others? No, but it matters when you're working as a photographer that you've just got to know where everything is and be comfortable with it. Do I take my cameras out into Arctic conditions to do wildlife photography? No. So the gear purchases I make are based on the fact that I don't do that. If I did do that, I might actually make different gear choices. These are all reasons that you may actually get some value out of these videos on the occasion that you need to make a change or an addition, more like. At the end of the day, I think gear review videos are so popular for the very first reason I gave. They feed into the natural gear acquisition syndrome that most of us have because we like new things, we like to be on the leading edge. It's fun. These cameras are incredible pieces of technology. Who wouldn't want the latest and greatest? These videos are undoubtedly good for the influencers who make them. I've made a few myself, but I've never wanted this channel to be based on gear reviews. I'm gonna tell you, it would be a lot easier to do that because they are so popular, they are much easier to monetize. But I'm a working professional photographer, and the goal of this channel was to talk about photography, but through the conversation to help people improve their photography. And after a certain point, buying and selling gear is just not going to improve your photography that much. In the beginning, your progress is very fast, I agree, and gear changes make huge differences. But once you get a good piece of kit, it's more on you to improve as a photographer than it ever will be to keep changing gear, looking for an edge. So I don't think that gear review videos from me, and I've chosen for this channel, should try not to focus on them too much unless I get a piece of gear myself and then I want to share it with you, because it's usually budget gear that has a great bang for the buck, and I think it'll help you a whole lot. Another thing is, as a working professional, I can tell you that changing gear is very disruptive, even if you need to. You get used to a way of working, things work, you have systems, and to have to change it, it's really difficult. It takes some time to change your workflow, change how you work. Even if it's an improvement, it's still very disruptive. And so for myself, and I'm sure a lot of other professionals, I always make the conscious decision to never deliberately just make changes in my equipment workflow because of the penalty you have to pay. I do not want my business, my passion, my photography to be focused on equipment. I think it does my clients a severe disservice. It doesn't help my photography really. And on this channel, I don't believe it's helping you. As always, I want to hear what you think. If you're thinking about making a change of your system, what's driving you to it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you've made a complete system switch, I'd love to hear about that in the comments, because that would probably be one of the most traumatic things I could do in my personal and working life. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you're new here, I would hope you would consider a subscription. Until the next video, cheers.